Hey everybody, it's that time of the year again. It's nice weather outside, and companies are starting to release new lenses or tell you that they're going to release new lenses, one or the other. Now, I always used to get excited when new lenses came out. Not that I necessarily could afford them, but that means that they'd be available for rental if I needed them for a particular purpose. And for me, that purpose typically was around fall foliage, right? Most of my stuff is event portrait type stuff. So my 24 to 70 is perfect for that. I did get the 100 to 400 in the kit form that I have now to try it out and see what I thought of it. I also had a big lens. The rental fee on it was not cheap. It was not a $14,000 lens. It was about a $3,000-$4,000 lens. And it did a phenomenal job of just pulling things from a distance right up to you. It was fantastic for that purpose. And it had a low enough F on it that you could get a really good bokeh from that. I can only imagine what a wildlife photographer, what they could capture with something like that, because you had such a distance that you could go from you to wherever the animal is, or the bird, or whatever. And you think of a bird in a tree, get that bokeh down that it's focused in on their eye and everything else fades into blur. That's phenomenal. It's also about 14K. So it's that time of the year again. Tamron will come out with some lenses that are going to be less expensive than the named counterparts. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. I don't have any direct experience with Tamron lenses. I have heard that they're pretty good. I've heard that they're better than some of the other, I won't say knockoffs, but copies of brand lenses that are out there. But again, it all comes down to, what do you need for what you're doing? All right. I'm in New England, and I'm already starting to think about what fall foliage is going to look like, which is a little depressing, seeing as it's almost 90 degrees today. And, when fall foliage rolls around, we're starting to get cooler, which is not a bad thing right now. But at the same time, I'm not looking forward to going back into another cold winter. But I've got to plan out my time. The trick for me always was, at this time of the year, was trying to figure out when I was going to attempt to shoot fall foliage, right? That's the trick. If anybody's got an algorithm for it, I would love to hear about it. But trying to figure out, based on years past when the foliage turned, so that I could order my lenses, so the lenses would be here, and I could take time off from work that I could go out and take the photographs. And then I'd hop in a car and I'd drive around for a while and just take pictures of whatever struck me as I was driving around. Pulling over, obviously, because you're not going to swing around a big lens in a car. But, get around and see what beautiful foliage was turning around wherever I happened to be. And that was great. And like I said, I could never afford those lenses. But now think of what you're going to do for the rest of the year as a photographer. What are you going to do for yourself for the rest of the year as a photographer? Something that maybe isn't part of your work, and maybe something that you may or may not make money on, but just doing for yourself. And what is it that you're going to need for equipment to do that? again, it's always, always, always a tug of war in the photography business as to where to put your money, what's going to be the best investment will bring the most into your life over what you did. I have a pair of beautiful photographic printers. I don't print enough anymore. And one of them costs almost $400 to replace all the inks in it. And the inks dry out if you're not using them. Now, there's probably a way to put the printer in a humidified area, kind of like self-contained, and put away kind of like you would a photograph, right? If you have a photo that you're trying to preserve, there's certain things you do to preserve it. There might be a way to do something like that with this printer. I love the printer. It's expensive as heck to pack up with inks, and I'm just not printing enough on it. The other printer of the same family, it's another Canon printer, does almost as good a job. You can tell the difference. Part of the difference is the other printer does a great job on black and white. It has half of the inks are different grayscale. So it really can make those colors pop because it has a whole slew of grays and blacks that it can blend in to make for a better image. But the other one costs about $200, $89 for the lower end inks for it. Still brand name. I think they come out to about $20 a piece. And there's 5 of them in there, but one is a big black and you don't change it out as often. So yeah, you're talking about like $80 every time I need to go put ink into that printer. Does it last as long as the other one? Nope. But again, I don't print enough that that's become an issue for me at this point. So that's the way my photography is going right now for what I do for myself, because that's what I really got the printers for, was something for me to do for me. Last couple of years at the fort, I've been going around taking pictures of people and then giving them a photograph of themselves. It's something I like to do. I've got a set here from the last awards ceremony that I've got to bring up. But it's that whole balancing act of, am I going to make money with it? No. I don't sell my prints that way. If I'm having them done, I have them done. You know, if I do photographs for somebody, I have them made, or I'll have the book made for a boudoir shot or something. That's the way I do things. So the printers were more for me, right? So again, I could rent a lens for what it takes to, I can rent a really good lens for what it would cost me to replace the inks in that printer. So it's that tug of war. Where are we going to put our money? Is this year going to be the year that we put our money into something for us or something for the business? Add to it the impact of the tariffs. Add to that the impact of not only the fuel for ourselves, but the cost of fuel for everything that we need to get going up. It's delivery fees going up, stores raising their prices, all of that. And it becomes a much more difficult process for us as photographers to deal with. In addition, that means that people don't have as much free money to go get our services. So our sales will be down. Our jobs will be down. And that's just the way things are going to be for the next couple of years. So rather than going out and buying that new lens, rent it. So you can still do something for yourself, but at the same time, you're still being mindful of that other side of the equation, which is keeping the business going and making sure you have enough money for that purpose. You know, I'm a big fan of renting things. I think it's a great way to try things out. And that includes drones and everything else. But think about it. If you have a need and you have a need for the new lens, but you can't afford the new lens. But you can afford to rent it for a day or two so you can use it on a job or use it for yourself. Think about going along those lines. And don't go crazy with it, because that money could be put aside to actually go buy the lens, but try it out first, right? Make sure, and you can usually rent a drone and everything else, make sure that what you're going to spend all that money on is actually something you're going to want to keep and not something you're going to get, use it a few times, and realize you need to sell it because it's just not working out the way you thought it would. But that's what I got for you guys this week. I know the next couple of years for us is going to be tough, but we'll get through it. And I'll talk to you all next week.